Hello, hello, welcome everyone. This is part 2 of my Thanksgiving color along. This is Out of Autumn Charm by Teresa Goodrich. Sorry about the glare. I will link part 1 down in the comments so it makes it a little easier to find, but this is where we left off. I have a lot of orange, red, and brown going, so for now I think I'm going to start and I'm going to build in on yellow. Now to me these look like wheat. If you want to do them green as leaves or plants or what have you, go for it, but I'm gonna go yellow just so that when I get down here to the corn and the other leaves I can bring in yellow as well. And I will also have it down here in these flowers. So I'm going to start with yellow ochre, and I'm going to darken right down the middle. You can do these one at a time if you want. But I am going to try to go for a little bit of a uniform look. Now, if you know what all these like leaves are, what tree they're off of, what color they're supposed to be, you can go more color accurate. I am going for pleasing to the eye. So I want a nice, well-balanced, fall feeling page. So what I'm going to do is when I'm putting my colors in here, I'm kind of trying, I don't want them all to look exactly the same, but I kind of want them to be pretty close. That makes sense. Okay, then I'm going to bring in a little bit of that canary yellow. And I'm going to blend it outwards. Now I am going to come back and put some depth on these lines that go outward. But to get started, again, I just am kind of building in some color. This one here I forgot, and again I don't know if these are supposed to be green like leaves, but I'm not doing a whole lot of green on this page, so I'm gonna stick with a nice yellow. Taking a little bit of goldenrod. You can do this after if you want, but I just kind of want to put a little darker layer on over that yellow now, because my next color is going to be cream and I'm going to blend it out. So go ahead and get it in now so I can blend it out with the other colors. And my goldenrod is tiny. I had a bigger one I pulled for videos so my hands wouldn't be in the way, but I don't know where I put it. And unfortunately, I must really love my goldenrod in Prismacolors because I have 4 of them and they all look like this. So it's a real problem. Okay, I'm going to take cream and I'm starting at my goldenrod and I'm pulling outward. I am going to try to do most of the centerpiece in this part. So those of you that want to have this page done by Thanksgiving can have it done. But we'll see how far we get. Sometimes I'm like, oh, this will take me easy peasy. I'll be able to get this whole section done on video and have lots of time left. Because my video doesn't like to upload too much longer than a half hour, I realize it takes me a lot longer to color things than I think it does. Okay, now I'm coming back in with that yellow ochre. And I'm putting this on top of that cream. So so that it shows through a little better. I'm going to sharpen this a little. I do use the handheld Prisma sharpener, is what I'm trying to say, that I got out of a Prisma Techniques coloring set. I just feel like it eats less pencil. And it's not as loud on videos also as my electric one. Alright, so I'm not necessarily doing all the lines, just kind of wherever's looking a little plain Jane. I'm gonna take my goldenrod and like a couple spots around these leaves here. I'm gonna darken a little. And actually, I'm going to pull my light umber. This might be noisy for a sec because I think I put it away. And I'm going to just darken that center a little on a couple of my lines. So this part is up to you. It just kind of brings that brown in. Gives a little shadow look where we have some spots overlaying. So I'm doing it right around the leaves and towards the base of my turkey here. And then I can bring my yellow in and kind of blend that back out more if we need to. This one got skipped on like all the yellow and golden rods. Just kind of touching that one up a little bit. Again, be careful with your cream. I can see in a couple places where mine smeared the ink in this book. Turning this a little so I can get the lines over here. Okay, so again, just kind of shadowing around the leaves here. I'm a little quiet, concentrating. And it's late. My kids don't have school this week, but we still have wrestling practice at 7 in the mornings. So it makes for a long day. And it is like 3:30 in the morning now. Right, so I'm going to leave that as is for now. If I need to come in and add a little more yellow to kind of bring it together, I will do that. But that is where I'm going to start for that. So while I have my yellows out, I'm going to hop down to these flowers down here. I am going to pull a little more orange into these than pale, just so that my turkey oranges, and again my leaves will kind of play into this as well. This is Sunburst Yellow. It's not necessarily my darkest orange, kind of my medium orange I'm going to start off with here. Just right around the center. And I am going to make this a sunflower. Canary yellow. I'm going to bring that just about all the way out to the tips. I'm not blending or anything just yet, just putting color on. I'm gonna pull my cadmium orange, which I used in my pumpkin. And again, it's a good idea when you use colors on a page to leave them out. So even if you are done with pumpkin and pumpkin colors, you still might leave your oranges out so you can pull them in other places. Mine are going to be a little bit more orangey sunflowers, but I feel like the overall theme of my page is pretty orange, so it should work out nicely. Move over to this one here. I'm just building in my shadows. I put a little more orange around the center of this one than I did these ones over here. I just don't want them to look exactly the same, and that's what I felt like doing. So, however you normally color your flowers. Okay, now I'm going to come back with that yellow. And now I'm going to blend everything out nicely. Now, if you want to create a little more depth in these, you could take your orange and run these all the way up your flower. I'll do it on this one just to show you. Just follow the start of the line she's already put in. Blend it out with your medium orange. Just go right over the top. I skipped one. And you don't have to do it on every petal if you don't want to. Wherever the line is aimed, just kind of follow it all the way up to the rest of your leaf. Petal. Sorry, can't talk. Sleepy. And then we'll blend them out. So then they don't look so harsh, but your little petals have some depth and dimension to them. I will finish the other two off camera. I just kind of wanted to show you. I'm going to do this little pumpkin as white for fun. I do have a video up on white pumpkins if you would like. I'm just going to use beige sienna and not French gray. Maybe beige sienna and I can't even think of the name of it. Putty beige, if I can find it. One second. Alright, so I don't have them sharpened to a super fine tip. Again, I know lots of ladies like to have super fine tips on their pencils the whole time while they're coloring. I am heavy-handed. If I have super sharp tips, I will snap them constantly. So I have what works for me, and I'm going to go on the outside of these lines. So we're creating highlights, darker at the bottom. This pumpkin would look good orange too, but I just feel like I want to add a little white so that he's kind of my main attraction. And I can also use these colors in the ground around him and kind of bring everything together that way as well. So we're doing a little bit of planning ahead there. I don't want to do too much brown on the ground, and depending on what you do these, if you go more greenish for like fresh corn, or if you do Indian corn and do them a little more brown, we're going to have a lot of brown going on. So that's kind of what I'm trying to avoid here. So again, just kind of adding a couple of my own lines, making it my own. Okay, putty beige, and I am not going over the whole pumpkin. I am very lightly just blending out the color I just put down, the beige sienna. Okay, and then I'm going to take a white. You can take 10% French gray. You could do a little cream. Again, kind of depending on the look you're going for and what your page needs. I'm going to go with white because I do want this pumpkin to have a very light look to it. And if you want, you can white the lines out on your pumpkin, the black lines, and they look good like that too. So there is that. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in on these leaves here. Now, I'm kind of looking at the shapes. These ones are a little more jagged. These ones are a little more leafy. So they're not necessarily going to look all the same. Now, these ones down here kind of look all the same. So I'm going to keep that in mind. I think I might do these ones a little more reddish and brownish, but we'll see. I'm going to work my way down. So I'm going to start with a nice light orange. And I'm just going to kind of play with it a little bit. So any leaves that are kind of shaped like that one, I'm just going to base this so I can kind of see what I got, what I like and what I don't. Apparently just those two for now. So I probably will come in and add one here. They won't look exactly the same just because I'm basing them the same. But again, trying to keep a little bit of balance. Okay, so I think I'm gonna pull a terracotta. And I'm going to do the outside of that and the middle. And it looks wild with that light orange. I know. Trust the process. And this isn't how I usually color leaves, but I don't exactly have this fully planned out. So we're just kind of playing. I'm going to make this one a little darker at the bottom. I'm going to want this other stuff to kind of stand out against it. So that's my thinking. Okay, this is the cadmium orange like we used on the pumpkin. This is where we start to get that really pretty, nice orange leaf feel. And then I'm going to go a little darker than the sunburst yellow. I have one right here. We're gonna go yellow to orange. And we're gonna blend that. Now if you want to add some more color, a little more yellow, a touch of poppy red, totally up to you. But for this, I'm gonna stick to my oranges. This is going to be an orange leaf. Now I'm going to leave my colors out because again, I'm going to hide those black lines a little bit that she's put in. I'm going to make sure everything is smooth and natural looking. And I probably won't do all these leaves because they do take a little while. But I'll show you a few and it'll kind of give you the idea. So there is one orange leaf. And again, I like how that looks with my yellow. So unintentionally on this side, I went about every other one. So if I make this guy right here orange, it'll be just about everyone. And again, these are not all gonna look the same orange. But I don't want like orange, 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 yellow, red, and one random green because then he's gonna look odd. Again, I'm not trying to go for a realistic turkey because I feel like that's kind of hard to do, even though these are supposed to be his feathers. Just going for a nice kind of harvest feel. Like what would I want on my kitchen table if I were making this, if I were a crafty gal. So again, I'm going to come around the edge here. And then after I do this orange one, I will swap and show a different combo. I am leaning towards doing Indian corn on mine still. So also keeping that in mind with these ones that are close to corn, that these are going to have some colored kernels. And I don't necessarily want to blend with those either. Now this one I might do a little less orange, a little more dark orange on the tips. And then bring in that lighter orange. And blend it all together. And I'm even going to come in, and you won't be able to see this yellow a whole lot, but it will make a touch of difference. In a couple of spots. So you can see they're orange, but they're not exactly the same. Oh, I have to switch positions real quick, sorry. Legs are going to sleep. Oh, sorry. Okay. So let's do, I'm trying to think, let's see. Let's do a nice, like a red, orange, yellow, I think is what I want. Let me find my colors. So I'm going to start with poppy red. And I'm not going to fill in the middle like I did on these orange. I'm not going to fill them in first on this one. So this one I'm just kind of playing around here. I need a regular orange. Where did my regular orange go? And I have so many projects going that are using the same colors that I have to keep swapping pencils places. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in that yellow. Now before I go over and blend everything, I'm kind of going to make sure I like that and that's what I want. And then we'll fill it in. So again, I'm not going to put that center in just yet. Red, got a nice orange here, bringing that orange down. I want a little yellow, but I don't want a huge spot of yellow. Okay, and then for the center of that one, I'm gonna take Tuscan red, which I don't think I have. Hold. Oh yes, I do. Take our Tuscan red. Okay, so I'm just kind of darkening up where that other leaf is showing over and around this corn, so wherever it ends up, it will stand out. And then I'm going to make sure this center looks a little more natural. So I'm just adding a little poppy. There. So sticking with my theme, I'm going to do the same thing on this one. And I'm trying not to do a whole lot of like yellow green because again I'm going to have that corn right here, which is going to be a lot of that. So for this part I'm just kind of sticking with the reds and oranges. I spaced it out with the yellow so we're not having too much red right next to each other here. And again, I don't want them to look exactly the same, so this time I'm going to put a big spot of yellow at the top. It will not be that big when I'm done with it, but better to start large and make it smaller than start small and then not have room. Now, if you are going to have green in your stalks down here, you can also take like a lime peel or a spring green and add a little green to your leaves up here. Where your yellow is. And then we'll have green in another spot besides just our corn down here. So again, I'm going to take that Tuscan red that I sat down. There it is. I knew it was right there somewhere. If you don't like the Tuscan red, you can do chestnut, what have you. Totally up to you. Just trying to stick with colors that I'm going to use in other places. Okay, and then again, I'm going to smooth everything out with Poppy. So that is going to be my feathers going around the outside here. And if I remember, I will try to post a picture of that part done at the end of the video. So if you want to just see it done and the pattern and how it played out to know if you like it, you can skip to the end. And now we're going to play with corn. So again, I tested out a few different types of kind of the Indian corn. Not everyone is going to like the Indian corn. You can also see where I tried out the different color kind of stalks. I know Indian corn is supposed to have a more brown stalk, but I really kind of like the green feel. So you can play with it how you want. I do like the blue on my corn, but it doesn't, I'm not gonna have blue anywhere else. So I think I'm gonna stick with the reds. The other thing about doing Indian corn on this page is it works a lot better if your corn is going sideways and has the nice long kind of kernels versus these ones. But we're still gonna make it work. So to start with, I'm going to take a goldenrod on this corn. Actually, I'm going to do a part 3 and do the corn because my phone is going to quit recording shortly. So quickly, so I can finish the tops up here, I'm going to also do the same thing with the leaves. So on these ones, I'm going to put a little bit of yellow. Let me make sure I'm on. And no particular order for the yellow because I'm going to cover it with a few other colors. Just trying to bring some of my yellow from down upwards. Again, we're creating that balance. So it looks a little sloppy right now, but we're going to roll with it. Now we're going to take an orange, yellowed orange, Spanish orange, sunburst yellow. We're going to play with it in the center a little bit. Now if you want to start green and work your way out to yellow, that works too. Oh. Going to be one of those pencils. So I don't usually have a lot of trouble with the Prismacolors that I bought in like the full sets, like my 150 sets, but the ones I bought open stock from Hobby Lobby seem to be a little bit worse. So for those of you that are having breakage and things from Prismacolor, it might just be the open stocks get banged around a little more. Not sure, but I've noticed that lately as I haven't bought a full set this year. I usually buy just a full set at Christmas, but I haven't been doing that. I've just been kind of replacing open stalks. Okay, this is lime peel. I'm kind of doing the tips and the edges. And then I am going to blend it all together with orange. You can do the yellow ochre. Actually, I might switch to yellow ochre because I don't want too dark of green. I'm going to put a little more yellow on a couple of these. And then after I get all those nice and blended out in the shade I want, I'm going to take chestnut or sepia, espresso will work, whatever of those you have. And I'm going to very lightly, make sure I'm on here, just kind of fill in the center. I don't do this first because I don't want to smear this chestnut everywhere. And if you want to do a darker green, that works too. Again, just kind of sticking with my brown fall theme I have going on here. Okay, and I am using it for just a touch of shading, like where these leaves are all bunched up. Maybe where this leaf is hanging over a little bit. So let me pull out a little. Alright, so there we are so far. I think our page is coming out great. It's looking great. I am going to finish this row of leaves around the outside. I'm going to do these leaves the same as I did these with this nice green, yellow, orange. So they will pop out up there a little bit and bring that orange up. So for part 3, we'll get this corn in, and these bottom leaves will work a little bit on the ground in the background. And hopefully we will have our page done for Thanksgiving. I appreciate all the kind comments, questions, comments, requests, anything like that. Let me know, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.